Welcome in to a long time coming Major League Baseball edition of Betting the Pitch. I'm your host, the real underscore G Warner, joined by at A Brooks Bets. We decided to jump on after a pretty ludicrous World Series game one and figured why not put something out there. We will focus upon game two, but of course, give you a recap of game one and what we feel like just happened, though we're maybe 10 minutes after the game just finished. So we're trying to figure out what the hell just happened. At A Brooks Bets, how are you on this fine Friday, October 25th?
Dude. All right. So I had the Dodgers and over eight, the Dodgers and money line and over 8.5. That was not looking good until the very last swing by Freddie Freeman, who was the third MVP in a row to bat in that inning. So, I mean, I hate the Yankees. I'm a Red Sox fan. We've talked about this all season,
Yeah.
right? So I am rooting for the Dodgers by default. Um, that was incredible. For a Red Sox fan, that was incredible. For a baseball fan, that was incredible. Uh, you go Shohei Ohtani, Mookie Betts, Freddie Freeman. The first pitch to Freddie Freeman is a grand slam to hit the over in my little parlay I did. It wasn't that little. I'm embarrassed to admit. Uh, I have a lot of money to lose, but I'm going to bet your best bets with you and Big East Ben on the college football Saturday. So I am going to win a lot of money tomorrow with all the money I won today. And I'm going to win money on Sunday with you and Schnitty's bets, which I've already taken. So I
Oh,
love
yeah.
this podcast. I just wanted to come on. I texted you. I said, emergency podcast. We got to do it. Like, I'm so excited, juiced up. Obviously, game one. Yes. The Yankees could win the World Series, but tonight is a good night. It's Friday night. Tomorrow is another game. It's in Los Angeles. The game will start in the daylight, which is a little bit weird, right? Like it's a little bit. I don't know. The Yankees might not be used to that. They
Same
haven't
game
started a
time
game in
as
the day
tonight,
in a long
though.
time.
Same exact game time as tonight. So, just to give you some
Yeah.
background, we had a really good run in our podcast. We were 15 and 8, 65% our last 23 before we kind of signed off for the season unexpectedly. But last recording we did was August 21st, and we're back. It's been 2 months. A lot has happened, a lot has come and gone. We got the Dodgers and the Yankees in the World Series, which is exactly what Rob Manfred, if he was like dreaming a situation up, which I really don't root for the guy. So I'm disappointed in that,
Ian.
but I'm glad we're back together. And we will be going through game two lines. I've made mine. We do have numbers available, and we'll get to that in a second. But before we get past game one, I think there's still plenty to talk about. Nestor Cortez, who hadn't pitched in what feels like a month, comes in lefty lefty with Shohei Ohtani. Yes.
Am I right? One pitch. Was it the first pitch? No,
So
against Otani.
one
Okay, it
pitch to
wasn't his first
Ohtani
pitch.
was
Right.
popped up and
Right.
caught,
It wasn't right. It wasn't his first pitch.
but it was the first pitch. So literally only two pitches were thrown,
Yeah.
both
Right.
fastballs.
Dude. Oh, yeah. Makes you feel so good. I don't know. It just makes me warm and fuzzy
So
inside.
okay, so
Two pitches
I'll,
since September.
I'll set the stage. So Garrett Cole and Jack Flaherty, both awesome first 5 innings, 4.5 really. Garrett Cole gives up a triple to the basically the best Major League Baseball hitter of all time in the playoffs, Kike Hernandez. Nope, not Babe Ruth. Nope, not Lou Gehrig, not Roger Maris, not Ted Williams, not Carl Yastrzemski. Nope, it's Kike Hernandez.
Well, it's
Uh,
David Ortiz or Steven Pierce or Kike Hernandez. One of the
Yeah,
three.
Stephen Pierce, the World Series MVP of only a few years ago. But the Yankees are not able to. Garrett Cole's not able to strand a runner at third with less than two out, which I guess good teams do score those runners. So the Dodgers take 1-0 lead. Yankees come back with two in the sixth from a golf shot home run from Giancarlo Stanton, who's had an incredible playoffs. And then we get into a bullpen battle. The Yankees end up surrendering the lead bottom of the eighth, and we go to extra innings, and a lot of crazy stuff happened. I think I'm most curious from your perspective. So Garrett Cole goes 6 innings, pitches to one batter in the seventh, gives up a hit, and is replaced. Clay Holmes comes in only for two batters. One of them is he hits, well, I guess he hits one, so three batters, but gets two outs on a bunt, which I still can't imagine why Dave Roberts is doing that in this world, especially with the best postseason hitter of all time, Kike Hernandez of all hitters. Then he goes to Tommy Kahnle, who comes in, hasn't thrown anything but a changeup in what feels like six appearances. And,
Yeah.
I got to say, there's no earned runs on Holmes, Kahnle, or Luke Weaver comes in, who's been closing for the Yankees. What do you feel about Aaron Boone's bullpen decisions before we get to the later ones?
I'm intrigued by the entire like you said 45 changeups in a row coming into it and he's just throwing changeups. So I mean that's a Yankee thing, I guess. Mariano Rivera had one pitch. And they loved that and he was great.
Indeed. So,
Am I going to say that he's that Mo Rivera is washed? Am I I'm going to go ahead and say that? Like I don't think you can throw one pitch anymore. Can you? I mean,
uh,
I guess he was decently effective and he got some pop-ups and I don't know.
Kenley's been
I
great.
just
And I mean, let's not forget that Kenley Jansen basically learned Mariano Rivera's cutter and basically only threw that as long as his arm would hold up. I think when you're not throwing it 95 or 96 mile an hour cutter, it's probably not enough. As we've seen Kenley Jansen somehow find a slider, which he worked on for a long, long time, specifically when he's in Los Angeles before coming to the Red Sox, and before quitting the team.
Emmanuel Clase does that a little bit too, right?
Yeah, well,
I mean, most of
but
the
his
cutter,
are
100.
100.
Yeah.
Like, so, I mean, that's a little bit different.
But
Well,
they're
now
not in
that,
the playoffs anymore. I mean, we've braked for a little while. That was surprising, right? Like they hadn't lost a game in the ninth inning, having the lead in like 2 years until this playoffs. And then you kind of get figured out. So I feel like if you're a one-trick pony these days, maybe you can have a scouting report on that guy. I don't know. Like you throw
well, I think
45 changeups in a row, we'll see.
we've seen throughout the playoffs that these awesome bullpens, that when they're seen repeatedly by the
Yeah.
opponent, that's not a good setup. And
They
um,
had 5 days to study, right? 5 days off. They
but
didn't
I think
nobody
it's
played
really,
for this whole week.
I mean, I don't know necessarily it's about time. I think it's just you, the more you see the guys, you know what their game plan is. They're not really going to fool you. You see the arm angle, all that sort of stuff. It's basically why the Tigers collapsed in a 2-1 lead on the Guardians, because all their great bullpen arms had been seen and weren't able to hold leads. Not that I'm bitter about it. But so it seems like you're cool with Aaron Boone's choices there. He goes to Jake Cousins to start the 10th inning. Luke Weaver had already thrown an inning and two-thirds, or at least got five outs. Kahnle with two outs, Holmes with two outs. Cousins comes in and is a little bit wild. Ends up taking the loss in this matchup, but then I mean, pretty wild scenario. But the Dodgers are in scoring position. Then he goes with Shohei Ohtani up and one out with men on first and second. He goes to his lefty. It's not Tim Hill, it's Nestor Cortez, who comes in and hasn't pitched in a very long time. How do you feel about that choice? I mean, he did have Ohtani, then right-handed batter Mookie Betts, and then lefty Freddie Freeman. Do you agree with that decision?
I mean, no, absolutely not. Like, how could anybody? I feel like I don't know. I'm an anti-Yankees guy, but I feel like the Yankees fan base will be saying, "What just happened?" You know what I mean? Like they took the lead in the 10th and they put in nasty Nestor, who hasn't pitched in a month and a half, and he's trying. And they even said on the broadcast, who we talked about Joe Davis and John Smoltz and how good of a team they are, or how
Ah,
bad, however you want to look
ah,
at it. I
ah.
like that team.
Yeah.
Um,
Well,
it's just
that's one of us on this podcast.
do you like him or not?
No,
You don't like Joe Davis?
Joe Davis, like I've
The
tried to get
swing of
over
your
it.
life, like 15 times.
I've tried to get over it. His little Michigan accent really annoys the crap out of me. Also his lifestyle of like pasta is the bad stuff he puts in his body. So we'll leave that to the side. But in
Try to
this
track your
situation,
macros
so
every once in a while, and well, he won't be so
oh
bad.
God, what the hell is playing? Yikes! I don't know what's
You're
playing.
trying to watch soccer, I know it.
No, I think it was actually the the Yankees highlights. I don't know how that's going, but
This is so much more pleasurable when we get to just talk and then not have to do like 15 games in a row.
it
We're
is
just
it
we're
is
just, we're just
easier.
blasting on one game and then we get to talk about another game for the next 20 minutes. It's great.
Though the time will fly. So left-handed pitchers that are on the roster for the Yankees: Nestor Cortez, Tim Hill, sinker baller, Tim Meza, who basically got thrown out of the Blue Jays organization because they're like, we can't handle your 6.5 ERA, and Carlos Rodon, who's going to start game two. Rodon, excuse me. You would rather have seen either Tim Hill or Tim Meza choose any of the Tims over Nestor Cortez?
Oh yeah. I mean, if I was a Yankees fan, yeah. But
Well,
I had the Dodgers in over 8.5, so I was happy to see some guy who hasn't pitched in a while. I mean, I thought it
so
was a terrible decision. Why would you bring him in that high leverage of a spot and with no conditioning? No, I mean, sure, he's healthy. What like best case scenario, he's healthy and he hasn't pitched in the big leagues in a month. I mean, no, no thanks. No thanks. Bad
So
decision.
I don't
Aaron
think
Boone, bad.
conditioning was an issue because he only threw two
No,
pitches. But to me, I think Nestor Cortez, there is a reason they call him Nasty Nestor because he can be nasty and he has some deception. And I
well, you
think
can't
that's
balk a
what,
bunch when the bases are loaded.
well, he didn't walk anybody because he threw only two
No,
pitches.
I
They both
said
swung at.
balk. You can't balk a bunch when the
Oh,
bases are loaded. You know,
well,
he does the lift leg and the weird deliveries. He's got that kind of Johnny Cueto kind of thing where like
yes,
he can.
Johnny
Well, you can't
Cueto.
do that with bases loaded very much.
Every time I think of Johnny Cueto with a man on third in his box against the Dodgers, coincidentally, have really just brings me back into an
Here's
angry
a hot take.
summertime.
I
Yeah.
I, I would have rather Nestor start game two and Rodon come in right now. That's what I would have done if I was Boone.
Nah,
Because like that
nah.
higher leverage spot, there's no way. I now we'll get into game two. Let's talk about game two.
Hold on before we get there. It's gonna like I say no to that because it would take so long for a true starting pitcher like Carlos Rodon, who I don't know that he's even had a bullpen appearance in maybe his entire career, maybe back to NC State in college. So like I think it's been a long time.
Chris Sale never did either. Just saying.
Uh yeah, okay.
And he threw the last pitch of the World Series of 2019,
Well,
18, and
yeah.
then we won the
I
thing.
mean,
So I'm just saying,
we've seen these managers
ballers can
be
ball.
very careful about maintaining who they have for future games. There's no Nathan Eovaldi, this an incredible career for him
Yeah.
after all the relief he pitched in the 18 inning game at Dodger Stadium a few years back that was referenced on tonight's broadcast. But I think the reason why I'm not like totally against Aaron Boone putting in Nestor Cortez here is because Tim Hill, yeah, he's a sinker baller and is less likely to see the ball leave the park. But man, I'm not impressed by that guy. I'd probably prefer him over Tim Meza, who's been batting practice this entire season, better with the Yankees, but hard not to be after he was so bad with Toronto. To me, it looks like the Yankees don't have a lot of choices from the left-handed side, which maybe is the reason there. So we'll switch to the Dodgers side of things, and then we'll get into game two before I want to leave game one behind. So the Dodgers, they had a little bit different of a situation. Jack Flaherty was really good through 5 innings, gave up a two-run shot on what seemed like a curveball, knuckle curve that was about to bounce if it wasn't a slider. I'm not fully remembering exactly what it
Well,
was.
let's talk about that at bat for a second, right? So there was a curveball in the dirt that Stanton swung at and missed, and then there was another one that he swung at and missed. And then he threw a fastball that was about 12 feet high, almost went over the catcher. I guess it must have been about 9 feet high because the catcher did catch it,
I mean,
but
if it
it
was
was
eight
very
feet
high.
high, it would have been just a few inches above Giancarlo Stanton's head, I think.
Right. The guy looks like The Rock, Giancarlo Stanton. Literally looks like he looks like The Rock. I mean, he's I've never seen a guy in all of baseball who can swing and miss so badly and then do what he did with a 2-run homer to take the lead. I mean, that was incredible. That was great swing, right? Like, what are you going to
Because
do? Like,
Flaherty threw
that's what he
the same
does.
pitch again.
Yeah. It's
He
it's
saw that Flaherty was nowhere near a fastball, so he knew he wasn't coming back with it. And he's like, "All right, I'm sitting off speed."
I'm
And then he
going dirt. I'm
deposited
going Tiger
one
Woods. Yep.
into left field.
Incredible swing. It wasn't low enough though. You know and like Smoltz said in the broadcast, it was a it was out of the zone. It just wasn't in the dirt because if it was in the dirt, he would have swung at it too. But Stanton is Stanton's a guy, and I'm not saying the series is over. I'm very happy with the outcome tonight, but the series isn't over. So um, Stanton's real, Soto's real, Judge is struck out the first three times tonight, but he's also real, apparently, according to Yankees fans. And in the regular season, he's real. So we'll see. We'll see.
Well, I just wonder if so I played on my like four team, whatever, four leg little player prop parlay tonight. I went Gleyber
Talk
Torres
about
with
that.
single that hit. I did Juan Soto with a walk that hit in the first inning, and he walked again because they intentionally walked him to get to Judge later. Uh, if Judge is going to keep struggling, do you think they're going to pitch to Juan Soto at all in this series? Because there's some issues with lefties on the Dodgers side as well, with Banda and Vesia the only lefties on the postseason roster.
It's a good question. Do you really want to pitch to Judge? Like make a decision. All right, Judge stinks. Let's pitch to him. I don't think you can go that far, and really throughout the whole entire series. But I mean, if you're gonna go Soto versus Judge, sure, I'd pitch to Judge. If you don't have the lefty strength that the Dodgers may not have, yeah. I mean, righty righty is always better than righty lefty. So it's a confusing situation for both teams, I think, because Judge is supposed to be awesome. He is awesome almost all the time. But when you strike out three times in a row against Jack Flaherty, it's alarming, I would say. At least a one bell alarm. Not crazy, but like you're thinking about it.
So not a three fire alarm like fireman look
Oh,
Giancarlo Stanton.
not crazy.
I mean,
Aaron Judge could be the MVP of the World Series and they could win the game, the whole thing in like five or six. Like there's no doubt. But doesn't look good tonight. And I love
well,
it.
in order for that to happen, the Yankees have to win four of the next six. That's a big tall ask against the Dodgers, considering I guess they do have half of those six will be at home, but only three, and they badly need game two. So let's get into game two. I think we've probably done more than enough on game one of a single
You think
game.
the Dodgers need game two?
No, but I think it would make it almost impossible for the Yankees to come back if they do take game two. So we'll get into it. I did see lines. Let's make sure that I got them updated. And I'll read them. All lines quoted courtesy of Bet Online at Sportsbetting.ag with our sister sites. If you don't have money there, we have links in the podcast descriptions on Apple Podcast, Spotify, and on YouTube. Go click the link, put some money in, whether you've had money at one of the sites, if you are making a first time deposit, they will match your money and I will get some too. So thank you for that in advance. I'll go with the game two line. It looks like Yoshinobu Yamamoto. He is the home starter against Carlos Rodon, as we've already mentioned. Yamamoto, a minus 135 favorite. Rodon coming back at plus 124. Total had climbed to 9 in tonight's game before first pitch was thrown. And somehow, I guess at A Brooks Bets got a better number at 8.5. We're seeing 8.5 again here with a lot of juice to over. So I would expect probably the similar movement with Cole not on the mound. Maybe a little bit more respect for Yamamoto as he's a bigger favorite, but I think game one certainly plays into that too. What are your initial thoughts on Rodon as a plus 124 underdog and the total at 8.5?
So plus 124. I think they were plus 105 tonight. So, I
It
mean,
got it got pretty low towards the close. So from when I was tracking it, I thought I saw the Dodgers as high as minus 123, got all the way down to minus 115. So that would come back plus 105 on the other side. And so we're looking at a pretty significant difference here, like 15% or so less likely to win are the New York Yankees in game two.
man, I think about it. I mean, it's a decent bounce back spot for the Yankees, right? Like that's it. If the price is that much better
Is it a must win?
for the Yankees, yeah, yeah, it's a must win. So,
So they're
I
using all they're using
yeah.
every piece they have. They're taking out, oh boy. Well, it looks like it's just me now. Um, and I guess I'll stall for a little bit until that happens. So my take, I guess, as we are somehow recording, I have no idea what happened. Hopefully this isn't me and we're still recording actually, but I actually don't know. Um, but from my perspective, Yamamoto minus 135 favorite feels pretty steep compared to what Jack Flaherty went off of this tonight. But at the same time, I thought should have gotten the nod for game one and is not pitching against Garrett Cole, and we've seen the blowups from Carlos Rodon. So to me, I don't really know what to do with the Yankees here. I was pretty interested, as was my co-host for the pregame.com Major League Baseball podcast at Munaf Manji at SportsNerd 824. He was on the New York Yankees first half. I took the full game for our best bet portion of the pregame.com show. And I mean, the Yankees are kind of amazing that they were in such great position leading in the sixth inning, but not the fifth. So brutal for Munaf's first half. Um, but I feel like we're looking at a tough bullpen situation, and I don't really know. Like, yes, the Yankees should use every piece they have. Um, and as I'm trying to get Brooks back in here, I don't know if that's going to happen, so we'll figure that out. But just at this point, I feel like the Yankees, I mean, they're desperate. That probably puts them in a better situation and probably means that they're using a lot more of their bullpen sooner, which is definitely worse down the stretch. We've seen all these managers be very, very conservative with trying to keep the opponent from seeing their best pitchers. We've seen that from Dave Roberts. I imagine that means the Dodgers will be a lot more conservative with their selections. We probably see a lot more use of the other pitchers that were potential options. So I feel like Daniel Hudson was probably almost guaranteed to pitch in game two, especially if it's close. Maybe if it's not close in the losing direction, maybe they go a little bit even more careful. I just feel like Yamamoto, he was so good against the Padres in that game, that pivotal game five decider that got really the winner of that probably made the World Series just by virtue of winning that one. I think the Mets were going to be an underdog to both of those teams out west. And I just don't know. I mean, so also it probably makes sense to talk. We haven't covered it with Brooks. I don't know if he lost power or if he's just lost and done for the night. We'll see. But very interesting to me just when you look at the series price. So as I try to update this, so the Dodgers, they are minus 220 now to win the World Series, which is, I mean, a pretty significant difference, I think, from where we were. As I don't know okay, yes. So at it as high as minus 137, as low as minus 130 on Bet Online, quoting all lines quoted courtesy of there. And so we've seen a pretty big jump to looks like 38% or so on both sides. The Yankees from plus 117 to plus 190, the Dodgers from minus 137 to minus 220. And that all makes sense, I think. Dodgers with home field advantage, with the series lead, all very important, good ideas and those sort of things. Oh gosh. Brooks's laptop died. Backup plan engaged. One sec. This is gonna be hilarious. But I guess I'll stall until he comes back on the episodes. It might be a little bit longer, late night episode with the real underscore G Warner and at A underscore or A Brooks bets. There we go. A underscore Schnicker is not on this podcast, but already referenced, so we're keeping it in the family. I'm trying to think of like if you're playing the Yankees here, do you take them plus 124 for game two, or do you take the plus 190 to win the series? I already like the Dodgers coming into it, as did Munaf. I feel like if you're playing the Yankees and you're expecting something, I don't know that it's worth it to go after the series price, getting nearly 2-1. So you need to win like 35% of the time to win. That's to be positive expected value, which is literally all we're shooting for in any sort of bet we make. Yeah, you need to win 35% of the time and you're profitable. Basically, if you're trying to live in the positive expected value life, I don't know necessarily that there's anything you could do there, which means the Dodgers probably climb, which then makes the Yankees a little bit more enticing the higher it gets. But I just don't know. I mean, the Yankees were priced below what I was expecting. I was expecting to be a plus 120 underdog. Never saw that before first pitch. And honestly, it just seems to me like the Yankees are in big trouble. Maybe they're in a better position because they're more desperate and they will use their better arms. As at A Brooks Betts is coming back on the scene. I can see his photo. I can see his name. Hello,
Been
are you
just ripping by
there?
yourself this whole time?
I mean, what am I supposed to do? We record. I don't just turn it off. I've been riffing on the whole thing. So riffing Griffin over here.
I
So
got an HD camera. Hang on, I got a backup laptop here.
all right, you
My,
sound better. That's good.
this is my good microphone. All right, see, look at this official podcaster. All
Official.
right,
Yeah. I've actually stopped using my microphone because I feel like it doesn't sound as good, but it does sound better for you. Um, so what you missed in the few minutes that I was basically one man banding of a two-person podcast, which I believe it or not, I'm used to.
I
Um,
fucking love it.
the so I jumped over to the series price. Yankees are plus 190 now, jumped up from 117. So nearly 2 to 1 odds, which basically means you need to win 35% of the time to make it a positive expected value bet to basically make it worth it. Dodgers are minus 220. Are you more interested potentially taking the bigger price on the Yankees plus 190 or on game two plus 124? Lower price, certainly, but you only need to win once. Whereas the Yankees series price, well, if you're playing the plus 124, of course, that would play into a plus 190 looking like a decent bet. But then even if you get to 1-1, you still need to win three of the next five.
I think the Dodgers are the better team. I think that Dodgers in 5 or 6 was kind of my vibe going in. My only concern, my biggest concern was Freddie Freeman was hurt. And look what happened tonight. Uh,
Tripled
he won the game with a grand slam.
and he
So,
tripled.
and tripled. Well, double with an error, right?
Hmm.
But yeah, I'm not
Double an error
concerned about
was
the Dodgers really.
Otani. Double an error was Otani. I think it was a true Freddie Freeman triple.
There you go. Maybe he's fine. Did he hit for the cycle? I mean, geez, now we're talking about like World Series MVP. Freddie
Freddie was
Freeman might
two
be the
for
guy.
five, 2 for 5. So he's missing two legs.
Uh, I thought the Dodgers were the better team. I thought the price was pretty even money. I was kind of waiting these 5 days because I guess I figured that the Yankees would be bet down. You know, a lot of Yankees fans, a lot of you know, they haven't been here in a long time and they have a big fan base. So I've
That
been
did
on the
not happen,
Dodgers
though.
for
That did
this
not
series
happen. You're
all
waiting
week.
for it, and it did not happen.
Didn't happen that much, no. But tonight was good. So I've been making when you don't get a whole series price that you want move, I kind of just go one bet at a time. It's like over unders in the regular season for the NBA. Well, I love the Hawks under 37 wins or whatever they got, but like if it's not the number you love, just kind of dabble and sprinkle bets all season. That's what I've been doing. I think OKC and the Thunder will be over, and stuff like that. But it and this is the same idea. I'm more interested in the Yankees in this game. I'm not interested in the Yankees in the series at all. I think the Dodgers will win the series.
I think so too. That was my prediction coming in. I said Dodgers in six, though.
Yeah.
I never really feel that comfortable on the games. I like the five shout off
I
to a
mean,
great start.
tonight was never comfortable. No,
Nope.
for a Dodgers better, it was never comfortable.
Doesn't feel like a quick series to me. So I think that there's probably some value. So I mean, we might
You
as
don't
well
think
get
that
into
Cole's
it.
like all they got?
What?
Cole's like all they got, right? Like he pitched as well as he could. I don't think Rodon is good. Let's just say I'm like I don't. I mean,
I
as a
mean,
game
he's
two
he's
starter,
awesome when he's good. He's awesome.
yeah, he's like a wipeout lefty slider guy, like Randy Johnson and Chris Sale. But is he going to really do that? I mean, I don't know. So I've never seen it in the postseason. It's a long season for a guy like that who's kind of injury prone. I'm not saying injuries are actually going to factor at all. This is funny because we did a whole regular season podcast about this longevity and the whole season and what's going to happen moving forward. No, this is it. This is it. So they're going to go.
Longevity is literally tomorrow. That's all
Yeah,
that
exactly. That's
matters.
all you got is tomorrow. And I
Well,
think the
so
Yankees and Dodgers are both thinking like that. And they should. Is Otani going to close game 7 or game 6 or whatever? Like he's working from the mound, I hear, and like all this
and if
like
anybody
secret
wants to
stuff.
bet that Otani is pitching in this series, I will take your money at the real underscore G Warner. Please slide my DMs on any platform, whether it's Patreon, YouTube, Instagram, any place. I just
You're
don't.
probably right.
I don't see it
But I
happening.
hate that. I hate it that you're right, but you're right.
Okay. All right. So we might as
Right? Like
well turn
everybody
this.
wants to see Otani pitch in the ninth inning in game 5 or 6 or whatever. They're closing it out.
I
Like
mean,
just
dude, if
if he's
Dave
hurling from the
Roberts,
mound
I mean,
already.
Dave Roberts is an absolute moron. Like, I'll be real. If he decides to bring in Shohei Ohtani like if it's game four in the ninth inning, okay, that makes sense. And I don't even know why we're talking about this at this point because you're just a romantic about Major League Baseball at this point, it seems. But like, that would be absolute insanity. So, talk me through your best bet for this game too. I mean, you can totally go with a future if you want on the Dodgers to win the series, though certainly not getting paid a ton of minus 220, plus 190 coming back to the Yankees. Would you rather go, and I'm just gonna turn on a different light so I can record this and it looks a little bit better when I post it on at the real underscore G Warner on Instagram, YouTube, and of course across all the other social media platforms. But so those are your options. You can take the Dodgers minus 220, the Yankees plus 190 to win the series. You can go Dodgers minus 135 in game two, Yankees plus 124, or maybe that over, which is now 8.5 over minus 120.
Yeah, I'm going over. I've been over a lot in these playoffs, and
Well,
I
you're a
feel like
rich
I've been
man.
doing pretty good.
There have been
Yeah,
no unders that have hit. I mean, there were
yeah.
two, the final game of the Guardians Yankees series, and then I think the second one were the only unders of the entire NL
I
ALCS,
mean, my
entire
my
championship
over
series.
bet tonight was trash, and it still won. So I mean, I got lucky tonight. I'm not saying that tonight was like, oh, I mean, I thought Cole would not be that good, and I thought Flaherty would not be that good, but they were, and I still won the game or won the over, and that's not going to happen every night. But I'm going to lean over again. I mean, these bats are crazy. You talk about these MVP candidates, and it's not even. This is an exciting World Series for the entire country of the United States. I mean, of the world.
You're
It's the
forgetting a
World
pretty
Series,
big
right?
country that's pretty interested in it too. It's a little
Well, it's
bit
the World Series.
right, but it's a little bit east of us.
What is?
A country that's very interested in it, that literally is waking up for this World Series and
Oh,
basically pre-gaming their days with some Shohei Ohtani-san.
that'd be pretty awesome, right?
Pretty
Like
cool.
waking up at 8 a.m. and watching the World Series.
I mean,
That'd be sweet, or whatever
it's
time
like
it is.
me and counting down the hours until the
I'm
soccer
a big like big noon Sunday on college football, whatever. I'm a big fan. Anyway,
Saturday. Yeah.
yeah, I've been leaning over this entire postseason. I still like the overs. The hitters are just too good. I, I don't, yeah. My old baseball coach used to say good pitching beats good hitting anytime. And I still probably believe that. But these guys, they only go. I saw a graphic that the Dodgers pitchers, like the average starting pitcher goes 3.2 innings, average in the postseason. The Yankees are not much better at like 4.5 or something. So they're not really relying. It's not a Randy Johnson, Kurt Schilling World Series MVP co-sharing kind of situation at all. Like that's not going to happen. Um, 17 out of the last 20 World Series MVPs have been non-pitchers. One of them was Steven Strasburg, and I
2019,
think
baby. What a great
the
run
other
that
two
was.
were. What did you say?
2019, what a great run that was as a holder of
Yeah,
a Nationals ticket that
yeah.
year. That was a very good one for me.
You talk about stars and hitters and Freddie Freeman's probably the sixth best hitter in this entire series, and he just won the game for him. And he's an ex MVP, and he's a $200 million guy plus, and I mean, it's just incredible. You go Freeman and Otani and Betts and Muncy, and then on the other side you go Judge and Stanton and Soto and Chisholm. Jazz Chisholm's on the cover of the ML of the video game, and he's the eighth best player in this series hitter. He's the best hitter in the series. So like,
I'll take the under on eighth best player in the hitter in this series.
you mean ninth or seventh?
I mean 20th.
Okay. Well, he's on the cover of the video game, is what I'm
I,
saying.
yeah, there's a
You
difference
know,
between
like
trying to
the
get the
guy on the cover of the
TikTokers to
video game
play.
is not even registering to people in like these MVP debate. Like he also, by the way, had like two stolen bases in a crucial run tonight.
He was
Like he
big
he
tonight.
played
He
really
was.
well.
He was big tonight. Yep.
And a great stop at third base on this
Yep. Yep. On a
hot hit thing,
laser.
which
Yep.
on a third base position he's never played before.
Two
So
hits in five at bats to raise his playoff average to 0.179. So he's getting a
there you
hit
go.
18% of times. So he's definitely on a hot streak. I'm gonna cut a video now so that I can put this on our social
Wait.
media. Yeah.
Bonus best bet is that anybody for the World Series MVP, if you can still bet it. I guess Freeman's
Yeah.
probably leading it. But I would go super long shot. Four out of the last eight World Series MVPs have been total long shots, like Steve Pearce and Jeremy Pena, and like guys that are off the board.
Ben's
If
over
there
it.
was like a there were like 10 guys and then the field, take the field. I'm just saying somebody's gonna emerge that's a little bit off the board. Freddie Freeman was kind of off the board. He was like the eighth choice going into this series, and he's probably the you know
He's
he
going to be
deserves it
he's
so
a tough
the most
unseat
so
with
far.
basically one of the most famous Dodgers home runs in the playoffs ever, the
Yeah,
first walk-off grand
him and
slam, et
Kirk
cetera, et
Gibson,
cetera.
right?
Okay. Okay. Now let me record this, then we can finalize
Got
our
it.
last few seconds. Oh no, I'm not doing slow-mo. I really hope I'm not doing slow-mo on these other videos too. Damn. Hey, this is the real
I
underscore G Warner. This is an unexpected Major League Baseball broadcast. It's been since August 21st, but at A Brooks Bets and I just got on the horn. We were 15-8, won 65% of our last 23 best bets on the show. We brought it back after an incredible game one, big lives that we're living right now with in our basements or in our apartments on a big Friday night. But Abe Brooks Betts was super happy with the outcome tonight. Won his Dodgers money line and his Dodgers over 8.5. He's sticking with over 8.5 for game two. For my best bet, the real underscore G Warner on Instagram, Patreon, Twitter, and on YouTube, as we have Maui now in the shot. I'm going to go with the New York Yankees plus 124. I think they're very desperate in game two. They use their best bullpen. I expect Dave Roberts to screw this up, to use some lower arms in that bullpen. And I think the Yankees are able to take game two and make this a big series. That'll do it for this episode. Thank you all for tuning in. Any final seconds as we have a minute and a half before we're kicked off?
incredible game tonight. The Dodgers weren't supposed to win that, but they did. Nasty Nesters, not nasty. Hook them.
Yeah, hook 'em. All I know is one of my alma maters will win tomorrow. I hope it is the orange one and not
All
the
right, come
black and
on,
gold.
come on.
Yeah.
It ain't gonna be the bronze and black one. It's gonna be the burnt orange one. Let's
No,
go.
no. Don't worry. I was already in the people's mention.
What
Someone
color is
told
that
me
bronze? Is that what do they call that? Bronze,
gold
gold,
because of all the money
gold,
the
black,
Vanderbilt's had.
whatever.
But I did get in. Someone called me an idiot on Twitter for saying that they should put the nets up throughout the entire stadium because it's going to be a Texas home game tomorrow. So if you ever had any questions, you know who I support. And that'll do it for this episode. Thank you for tuning in for this unexpected but hopefully valuable Major League Baseball episode presented by Betting the Pitch. At A Brooks Bets, we'll be back hopefully with his dog in camera shot later at some point. Maybe he'll actually charge his laptop this time. I'm at the real underscore G Warner on all the social media platforms, and we will see you next time. It could be May, it could be March. We have no idea, but we're coming back.